General Grievous was an agent of hate who despised almost every individual he met. However, we notice a certain level of animosity towards the head of the Trade Federation, Gunray. But why did Grievous hate the Pneumodian conglomerate so much? Well, from Revenge of the Sith following Dooku's death, we see the two arguing. Gunray doesn't have faith in Grievous's abilities, and Grievous responds with a pretty direct threat, so it's pretty clear there's not much love lost between these two. So I'm going to start by explaining why Gunray doesn't like Grievous. As we've discussed on previous videos, Grievous's military career under the CIS wasn't exactly tarnish-free. Remember some of those biggest assets that Grievous was put in control of, the Malevolence, the capture of Palpatine, one of the defences of Magneto? Grievous had a fair few mistakes under his belt, and all of these defeats were actually pretty costly. That is in a literal sense. All those ships, those droids, tanks, etc., they were Trade Federation credits all getting flushed down the drain. And it's arguable to say that many of Grievous's defeats were down to his own hubris. He did on regular occasions act overly aggressively and irrationally, and he had total disrespect for Gunray's property, and needless to say, this angered him to no avail. Now, Gunray, in return for Grievous's negligence, treated him like a mad dog, like a tool. Gunray respected and feared Dooku, but he knew that Gunray himself was indispensable, as without support from the Trade Federation, the CIS's war effort would suffer. However, perhaps the largest reason Gunray infuriated Grievous was because he treated him like a droid. As I said, he was a servant and an attack dog in the Pneumodian's eyes. He was to be used when he wanted, and if there's one thing we need to remember about Grievous, is that he hated droids, and he resented being a cyborg. So, for some Pneumodian who's never stepped foot on a battlefield to treat him so disrespectfully, that is going to infuriate Grievous. And that brings us to the final point of why Grievous hated Gunray, and it's because of who Gunray was and what he represented. Grievous had always been a warrior. He was proud, and although not necessarily honourable, he had a certain level of respect for his enemies, simply because they were formidable warriors, and Gunray was anything but. He was the embodiment of the Pneumodian stereotype, a sleazy, underhanded businessman who granted was brilliant in some respects, but not in any way that Grievous could ever respect. He had made his credits cheating others, he let his droids do everything for him, and this is why Grievous couldn't stand him. He represented the polar opposite of the Kaleesh, and the fact that someone like this would ever oppose and insult him angered him more. Grievous knew that he would be able to butcher this Pneumodian in seconds, and the fact that he couldn't drove him mad. Ultimately, Grievous was a strong believer that strength produced power. That's why he followed Dooku, why Dooku followed Sidious, because they were the strongest. And Gunray, who was weak and lazy, was the absolute opposite of this. It proved his philosophy wrong. But what do you think? Why did General Grievous hate Gunray? And do you think he was right to? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed. Please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLawGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. I am sorry for the sparsity of videos coming out recently. I'm currently halfway through my dissertation at uni, so I've got my hands full a bit, but I'm going to try to get more videos out as soon as possible. But most importantly, thanks again for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.